Last week on The Presenter,
your diction, your substance completely wanting.
There's no content. We don't think you even know what you are saying. It's like when the cameras come on, you go off.
That said,
your mic is off.
3 more mics are turned off and only 7 remain. The competition is stiffer than ever. And just as it's getting tougher, the lessons are getting deeper.
Hello contestants. This week, you'll learn something new. And this is interviewing techniques. We want to teach you exactly what you need to think about, what kind of questions to ask, how to react to the answers that you receive. And to get this training, we are bringing you the best. You'll get somebody who has a lot of experience, both local and international. That's Jeff Koinange. We'll also bring somebody who's really good. He's actually among the only few people who managed to interview former President Daniel Arap Moi. This is John Sibiokumu. Okay? All the best. Learn as much as you can, because at the end of that, you'll have a challenge. I need you to remember that this is an elimination challenge. Therefore, you're fighting for your mic. All the best.
No piece of furniture is as popular as the bench on the Jeff Koinange live show. Many have had the pleasure to worn this seat, and as a result, given rise to the most popular TV talk show in the country.
Hello, 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 hello. Chef? Zainab.
Oh my.
Oh my. Jamal, how you doing?
The contestants are in for a treat as they have the rare opportunity to engage the big kahuna himself, Jeff Koinange.
If there's one valuable lesson I want you guys to walk away with today, is that a good interviewer listens more than they speak.
The Moran of the Order of the Burning Spear Award is the highest honor accorded a Kenyan civilian by the President of Kenya for contribution to journalism in Kenya, Africa, and internationally.
Number 2, try not to go into an interview with all your questions written down. Depending on what the subject matter is, maybe write that first question down. First question. And then once you engage the person, once you're talking to the person, it's you're looking at them in the eye and they're looking at you. That way there's that chemistry, there's that contact. Are we in agreement? Are we in agreement, gentlemen? Yes. So I don't need to use my fire extinguisher. Are we okay?
How would you deal with an aggressive interviewee? You're there and he wants to take over the interview, and you're there and you're trying to calm him down, but he's very outspoken.
Yeah, Tony Gashoka comes to mind.
Exactly. How would you deal with that?
Look, use your experience. Use your platform. I mean, you are the host. You're the anchor. It is your program. It's your show. Use that to let them know that you're the person in charge. Say, hey, hang on, Tony. Hang on, man. What about this? Without being, again, combative or antagonistic, you say, hang on a minute. Matsanga, the same thing. He wants his voice heard from here to Kampala. Even though, people switch off their TVs at home, they can still hear him in the neighbor's house.
Perseverance, impartiality, and level-headedness is what makes the audience truly sit back.
All the time.
Watch everybody and then take a bit from everyone. There's nothing wrong with imitating. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, they say, right? Take from everybody, but don't take everything from one person. Don't go out there and say, oh my, no. They'll know who it is. Do you regret the stand you took?
No. Forming a local tribunal was a commitment we made as government.
For instance, Iron Lady, Martha Karua, comes across as a tough cookie, someone who's impenetrable. You can break that, you can make her smile by the things you say and what you say and how you say it. And that takes time, it takes practice, it takes experience.
Jeff makes interviewing look effortless, but the subject is always treated with integrity and credibility.
You've interviewed different sort of people. There are those who are so inactive, those who are passive aggressive, and those who are very aggressive. Yeah. I would really like to know how you deal with someone who does not even want to engage with you as you are hosting them on your show.
Your first question will tell you that right away. When you throw that first question at them, you'll see what kind of person they are. Whether they're lukewarm, whether they're half-dead, whether they're going to be an engaging interviewee. That first question. If you get like a one-word answer, Those ones are painful. Those ones are painful, and you're going to want to get rid of this guy as soon as possible. But, keep going. Keep going. See if you can touch that button. The most annoying thing when you're watching an interview is when the anchor or an interviewer sits there and asks like a 3-4 minute question. First of all, the interviewee has forgotten what is being asked because this person is babbling away. The shorter, the better. So, are you going to retire? Are you going to resign? Boom. You see that? What were you doing in that hotel room with Sonko? Short and to the point. KISS syndrome, KIS, keep it simple and stupid so that a 5-year-old can understand exactly what you're asking. Entertainment, the same thing. Same thing.
Let's pray together. Let's enjoy. The ICC will go down one day.
And we all
it has muzzled this country.
So we all join hands and sing Kumbaya as well? When someone's telling a story, don't cut them off. Please don't cut them off. Yes, there are those who will talk forever and a day. Matsanga will talk until the cows come home. But if someone's telling a story and they go from point A all the way and they're coming full circle, let them tell it. As long as it's not too wordy and they're not taking too long. If they are taking too long, okay, so, and then what happened? There's nothing, and then what happened? Because again, time is a factor, right? It's all about time,
Jeff Koinange has interviewed just about everybody who is anybody.
Someone will walk into a room and you'll be mesmerized. You will be intimidated. You will be thrown off. You won't even know you'll forget your first question. It's very important to stay focused.
Ishatokea wakati pengine ukamaliza mahojiano alafu ukaja ukajuta pengine kuna swali fulani ulikuwa umepanga umuulize au kumuuliza.
Yeah, it happens a lot. But you know what? You can only ask so much, right? Don't beat yourself over the head with it. And I used to do that in the beginning. So, oh man, why didn't I ask this question? What was I thinking? And then someone tweets you and says, yeah, this idiot didn't ask this question. But the best thing is, you're gonna get another chance.
What do you do in a scenario when the person you're interviewing asks you a question and let's say, for example, you don't know the question or it looks awkward because you're not supposed to be asking the questions, you're giving the questions. Right. So what do you do in such scenarios?
Good point. One or two things. One, you can say, I'm asking the questions here. Nothing wrong with that. And say it in a nice, very, polite way. Actually, I'm asking the questions. Never write anybody off. Never assume.
Apart from winning the ultimate title of the presenter, Jeff has an additional gift for the lucky two.
And I've written a book, guys. Whoever is the winners, the 2 finalists, you're gonna walk away with a copy of my book. Yes, which was released last year and it's selling all over town, but I think it's a good one for you guys, budding journalists, people who want to be in this business. It's a great read. Anderson Cooper is in there too. I worked with him a few times, so if you're the winner, if not, go buy it.
Another notable media pioneer is Mwalimu John C.B. Okumu. John C.B. Okumu has over 5 decades under his belt in the industry with experience in radio, print, and television. John C.B. Okumu has not only tried his hand at journalism, but has had roles in a number of local and international films, most notably The Constant Gardener and The First Grader.
I set the pace for what's happening now, interviews. We were sort of pioneer types. And if you're a pioneer, you're lucky to take a lot of things. For example, it will become as a crime to you that I never had a producer talking to me through an earpiece as I broadcast. I had bosses who allowed me to do that. And when we began the interview, because it was going to be in real time, like this program, perhaps for the edit, I said, once we start, we do not stop.
John C.B. Okumu has been the host of notable shows such as Zain Africa Challenge and JSO at 7.
Why is this particularly the right time for you to do what you're doing politically?
However, he made a name for himself back in 1997 when he carried out numerous high-profile interviews on The Summit.
I've always tried to make some connection with my interviewee before the event?
I've said I will not listen to any country which yesterday was a colonial master bidding me or my colleagues in Africa.
When you actually put the question to the viewer, is there any question that you don't wish me to ask? Because of ego, because of vanity, they will say, niulize tu vile unataka mimi sijali. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good one to get in there. But it also does something else, especially for the kind of people that I've ended up interviewing the most, which is politicians. Their lives are public property from dusk till dawn.
Right at the very beginning, why it's emerging that there are already some animals who are more equal than others in the grand national rainbow coalition.
Thanks, Sibi. I'm really happy to talk to you this evening. Well, it is not true that there are people who are emerging as more equal than others.
The questions that you ask obviously are going to change from the people that you're talking to. It's natural in life. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's just won the Nobel Prize or somebody's just walked up Mount Everest without oxygen, they've done something really, really fantastic. And you're in awe of that achievement. And you want to ask them, what did they have for breakfast? How did they manage? How many, what did it take to write that novel? That's a different kind of interview from somebody who wants to become my president after the next elections.
What's the most essential thing you have to learn when it comes to interviewing, and then keeping in mind you have to take keen note of your body posture and language?
A lot of these rules that are set up, like any major scientific rule, can be broken. You have to be yourself. When we did programs like The Summit, I have a smile, I've got teeth, they're all there, they haven't been knocked out, praise God. You know what I'm saying? I've got a lovely smile, but can you see it? It's lovely. But for the purposes of the program that I was doing, there was no smile. If your producer says, John, every time you talk to people, do this. Yeah? Right. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So my biggest buddies on the set are the crew. I don't think presenters are born. I think they're made.
You talked about acquainting yourself with the interviewee and asking them whether there's anything about their life they wouldn't want to talk about. But do you also take them through sort of an overview of how the interview is going to be? These are the questions I wish to ask.
Most interviewees, when they come in, you can have in 20 minutes so many topics which you can cover. They're like a headline, they're like a theme. You can't deal with everything, because again, in my interviewing style, I used to create a thing that I wasn't working off any notes. So I didn't have for the audience to see a piece of paper with question number 1. So it means a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of visualizing, a lot of, if I ask this, what will Abula say? If I ask this, it's visualizing, like the tennis court, it's like Djokovic, Andy Murray, you're visualizing. And if you don't have the information at your fingertips, you find out. The less research the interview is, the worse it will be. It's an equation.
So just how well have the contestants prepared themselves for the task ahead? We find out after this break.
To get more information on this show, text in the keyword presenter to 22840.
The contestants have picked their tasks and are ready to carry out interviews with notable names in both the editorial and general entertainment field. Top-notch presenters must have great interview skills, and the contestants learned that it's all about preparation. Zainab Ismail goes first and is tasked to interview Hassan Omar, Senator of Mombasa County.
Good morning and thank you very much for joining us here on the Morning Express show. I'm Zainab Ismail, and today we're going to talk about the state of security in the country and of course radicalization. With me here today I have Mombasa Senator Hassan Omar, who's going to give us an insight on that matter. And please do send in your tweets, opinion, comments, questions on our Twitter handle at KTN Kenya and at Zainab Ismail, and I will sample some of those questions and opinions during the interview. Welcome very much, sir. It's a pleasure having you here. Okay, so let's get to business. Do you think we're losing our grip on security in this country in relation to the latest terror attacks that have been happening?
Yeah, that's fairly obvious that we're losing grip on the security of the country. There are a lot of anxieties and fear across the Kenyan people with respect to the security situation. But I think we're almost at a point of total collapse.
Mombasa has been put on the spotlight as a center of radicalization in the recent past and as well.
I think I wouldn't agree with that. It would be, when we continue with that type of terminology. I think Mombasa has been poorly handled in terms of its the management of the country's security. There has been wrong rhetoric from government leaders, and it has had a causal effect in terms of crashing the tourism industry.
Is the county at this point able to handle security?
I think we're not saying devolution in terms of having a police force, the county or the county the commander, or the governor directing county security. We are saying we want to have what is called the County Security Advisory Council. That is chaired by the governor and brings the various formations of the security agencies so that they can be able to agree on strategy and to be able to craft certain strategies and programs that respond to the intricate situations. I think there is no substitute to that fact.
Okay, I will get back to that point again, but let's talk about the Garissa attack. Right before the Garissa attack, there was an advisory issued by the British government and the US government, but then the government dismissed that. Is this laxity on the part of the government?
For me, what happens is, you see, we look at it also from a point of view of what policies you reflect as a coalition.
Okay.
Yeah, but you forgot to. You should have asked me about the White National Delegates Conference.
No, I'm not going to get to that. Now I'm going to leave you at that, and I'm going to wish you all a lovely day. I'm Zainab Ismail. It went on very well. I think I actually was comfortable, and I think it was fine. It was good.
I tried to and get her off topic, but she veered back, trying to get her into the matrix of ODM and CORD and Okoa Kenya, but she came back to the focus that she was pointed in terms of the responses she wanted.
Michelle Ngela picked a general entertainment interview and is set to interview sassy radio and TV presenter Angela Angwenyi.
A very good morning to you, and thank you for joining me on Morning Express. My name is Michelle Ngele. Our focus today is on balancing motherhood and a successful career. And joining me in studio today is Angela Angwenyi, one of Kenya's most recognized voices on radio. She is an entrepreneur, a mother, a musician, and a radio presenter. Thank you very much for joining us in the show, Angela.
Thank you.
All right, well, you are a jack of all trades, a media personality, an entrepreneur, a musician, a mother. Do tell us about your journey and how you came to be where you are now.
I think, I got into radio, but actually before that, I did the music thing a little bit. So I did the music thing, got into radio, and then started my own business.
Oh, that's great. And you're also a single mother. When did that happen?
I love the way when it comes to women, we're classified as juggling things. I was listening to your intro. Become a single mother. My son is 11 this year, so that's 11 years ago.
Wow. Well, having been in the public eye for quite a while, there's bound to be controversy and rumors and scandals. Yeah, so what is that one situation where you wish you could set the record straight?
Nothing as of yet.
Well, a while back there was an alleged affair between you and Judge Ska of African Idol. Did that happen?
Alleged affair, wow. Google is good, huh? Well, I'll put it this way. There was nothing, and there was no alleged affair. It was an on-screen kiss so many years back during Idols. But I remember, oh gosh, I think the public really came down heavy on me. But you know what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
And so having been a single mother, which is the focus of this discussion today, how did you deal with the challenges since you were quite young?
Well, coming back, I had a lot of support from my family. My mother was quite key. She helped me and still helps me raise my son, because I believe you learn wisdom and you learn a lot of life's lessons from those who've come before you, so that you don't make the same mistake. So great family support, great friendships, that actually come and rally around you to help you. Because children are not raised by an individual, they're raised by society, yeah.
Absolutely. And so Having been in this industry for quite a while, what kind of advice would you give to the many young single mothers out there who are really struggling to balance between single motherhood and a successful career? Because often you find that one suffers while the other thrives.
I really don't like being put in a box. This whole, it's like you're making women feel they cannot achieve, especially single mothers, they cannot achieve if they're single mothers, or it's going to be extra difficult. It is a bit challenging in terms of raising your child, yes, because I do believe in having the family unit together. But in terms of career, I mean, go get it, man. Work hard, play hard, whatever you want, whatever you can dream. By the way, it's all up to you. You just got to wake up and go fight for your dreams.
And so moving forward, what do we expect from Angela Ngwenyi?
Wow, great things. Great things taking over. I really want to change this country one conversation at a time. That's my tagline on the State of the Nation, and it will happen, God willing.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us on the show today. That's all the time we have today. Do join me tomorrow, same time, same place, for another nail-biting interview. On behalf of all the people that made this happen, thank you for watching. My name is Michelle Ngene. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I didn't execute exactly what I wanted executed. But at the end of the day, I feel like I incorporated most of the training that we did get. Yeah.
You could see she was a bit frazzled because I kept on giving her short, worded answers. So the key, by the way, when it comes to interviewing difficult people is you need to make them feel relaxed enough to, just give you a little bit more, or give you a little bit more of themselves.
Richard Onyango has his hands full with outspoken social political activist and award-winning photojournalist Boniface Mwangi.
Well, he is an award-winning photojournalist whose work covering the 2007-2008 post-election violence in Kenya thrusted him into the local, international, and even regional limelight as his works were published in magazines such as the LA Times, the New York Times, the Boston Globe, magazines just to name but a few. He has twice won the CNN Africa Multi-Choice Photojournalist of the Year award, and back home he is a social activist, an activist of social change. So we're gonna get to meet Boniface Mwangi, the man himself, just to know more about him, what drives him, and what motivates him to do what he does every day. This is Spotlight. My name is Richie Roger. Welcome to the show, introducing the man himself, Boniface Mwangi.
Hi. Richie Roger.
Yes.
You have two English names.
With a J-A.
J. Richie.
So that is not English.
Richie what?
Roger.
Roger. What is Roger?
It's a long story.
Okay.
So, Bonnie, you are a very elaborate young man, loud, who has very loud ways of expressing himself.
I'm not loud.
You don't?
No.
Oh, really? Because I can give you an example, such as Occupy Parliament. What motivated you to, how did you come up with that concept, Occupy Parliament? Because, Bonnie, man, the blood, the pigs, really, as in...
By the time we were doing Occupy Parliament, there was the Occupy movement, there was Occupy Wall Street, so we just brought the word Occupy in the Occupied Parliament. Pigs and blood, it's just symbolism of the greed of members of Parliament, and then they feast on us. That's why you did that.
I noticed one of the pigs, the fattest one, was named Duale.
Oh yeah, there was Duale.
Is this pig still alive?
Yeah, actually, the Duale pig is still alive.
So you have a big responsibility.
Given by who?
Because you are an opinion leader. I mean, if you call for a protest, Bonnie, people will show up.
Yeah.
Like, for example, let's take the 147, #147 vigil at Hoover. People showed up.
There's that responsibility. So, yes, there is.
Having bagged 2 CNN Africa Photojournalist of the Year awards, that comes with some sense of responsibility. But do you regret putting your career on hold as a photojournalist in order to pursue this activism seriously?
I have no regrets. I still take pictures. Yeah.
So let's put this particular topic of social activism and its funding into perspective. Then comes the question, where does the funding come from?
Every single project that you saw online has their own donor. It's very clear. Even the government of Kenya knows.
Well, that was Boniface Mwangi. To get so much more of this interview, well, visit www.standardmedia.co.ke to get more details. It's unfortunate we ran out of time, but please visit the website. You'll get much more details of that. This has been Spotlight. I have been your host, Richie Roger. Have a very good night.
So I think he did a very good job. Being a locally schooled young man, he has an accent. I don't think you need an accent to do your job very well. But overall, he was a very good interviewer. His skills are still raw, but he can become a very good interviewer.
There are still more contestants to see and more guests to be interviewed. All that after this break.
Nafasi yote moyoni nimeshaipa kwa Yesu ni namba moja.
To get more information on this show, text in the keyword presenter to 22840.
So far, we have seen 3 contestants in action carrying out their very first interview. It's time to see how well Tendai Mbelekwa handles his interview with Tony Gashoka, who is a very outspoken political activist.
Thank you very much for joining us this lovely evening. Today we have an FIRE on a fire show because I have a very feared man, a very loved man, and a very interesting man. I have Mr. Tony Gashoka. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, Tindy. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. So I want to start with this interview with a bang, something that is very fresh and recent. What are your thoughts on His Excellency Mr. William's Ruto recent speech that the Dadaab camp should be relocated back into Somalia, bearing in mind that it was established by the UN?
It is time for us and proper to ask the international community to bear its responsibility and share in the problem of Kenya. You can't have over 1 million refugees staying in Kenya, without any limitation of what they are doing. Many of them have families. Whole families are given, an upbringing within the refugee camp.
And in your opinion, basing on that, recent allegations from different bodies have actually said that perhaps maybe the Al-Shabaab are actually revolving around the Dadaab camp. So do you think that perhaps the Al-Shabaab came with the refugees as refugees, or are they coming into the country and taking innocent Somalians and turning them into the Al-Shabaab?
This issue of terror is becoming an issue that is being domesticated by our proximity to the Somali border, but also by the lack of the leadership being more firm with the networks of terror. Therefore, we need to do something about it.
Yes, but now if you look at something, won't this be actually colliding with the International Protocol of Human Rights and the Constitution of Kenya, that if we move these and we actually signed, we are obligated to actually keep them here? Because if another person is coming from another country, let's say, for example, if it's on fire, we being the neighbors, we are supposed to house them because of that particular reason. Now,
Cindy, are you telling me that you want to negotiate with terrorists? Are you trying to tell me that you think we should begin some kind of dialogue with terror? That there is protocols that terrorists observe?
And in one word or one statement, briefly, right before we're running out of time, but in one brief statement, what do you think of the President's plane that was supposed to go to the United States of America and made a U-turn in Yemen? What can you say about that in just a brief and small statement?
The President of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, must draw the line, and people must be held to account for what they do. So the guy who messed up his flight, fire him. You've already fired people for less. You cannot have double standards. You can't have anybody above the law or anybody spared from the acts of doing your job. Those who don't do their job, there are many millions of young Kenyans like Tindi willing to do the job.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gashoka.
Okay.
It was very nice having you us this evening. Thank you very much for watching. If you do like what you saw here today, you can join us on Twitter with the conversation, #TheTalk. I'm Tendai Mbelekwa. Thank you for watching. I wish I had more time to ask plenty of more questions because he's a very interesting person to actually talk to, and I felt so free. I thought I could ask him anything and he'd answer it correctly. The motion, you could see there was some type of yin-yang type of movement whereby we're connecting. There was no disengaging.
Today was interesting because the range of subjects the young man had seemed to me to be flexible issues, but they were based on knowledge and fact.
Frida Mwaka picked General Entertainment and is set to interview popular live band lead singer Jean-Pierre, better known as Kidum.
Na mura kabisa mpenzi mtazamaji mahali popote pale ulipo, natumai kuwa ubuheri wa afya na siku yako haijakupiga upogo. Wajua wahenga wakosea waliposema kuwa leo ni leo, asemaye kesho ni muongo. Tuko ndani ya kipindi chetu ambao nakipenda kabisa, kipindi cha Kimasomaso. Ni kipindi ambacho tunajadiliana na vitu kama vile ambavyo vilipo. Na leo mtazamaji niko na bonge la surprise ndani ya studio. Kidogo nikupatie taswira, anajulikana kama Jean-Pierre kama nimesema kwa kweli, ambaye alizaliwa katika maeneo ya Burundi. Ni mwanamuziki mashuhuri kabisa na amevuka boda akaenda mpaka maeneo ya Uganda, Tanzania na akafanya kolabo kadha wa kadha. Najua kwa sasa umepiga taswira ukajua ni nani, lakini ngoja tu nikupatie mchuzi. Anaitwa Kidum na ako ndani ya studio. Karibu sana bwana Kidum. Lakini kwa sasa mpenzi mtazamaji, tuonjeshe tu wimbo wa nambari 1. Tusikie tu laini.
Nikatangatanga mashariki na kusini, ili mradi nitafute.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, sauti tu ya kumtoa nyoka pangoni. Kidum, shukran sana kujiunga nasi. Ni wiki kadhaa, ni miezi kadhaa, ni siku kadhaa ambao haujasikika. Tumekuzoea wewe, tunakusikia kila siku, umetoa kibao kipya katika runinga zetu. Lakini wafuasi wanauliza Kidum ameenda wapi?
Hakuna kiongozi anaongeaga watu wakipiga kelele. Anangojea kwanza watu watulie afu ataongea kwake baadaye.
Nani alikupatia huo wito ama ulijuaje uko nacho kipaji cha uimbaji katika umri huo?
Nilipewa jina la Kidum na majirani walikuja kupongeza mamangu. Yaani kwa ile hali ya kumpongeza akamwambia amezaa Kidum.
Kidum kumaanisha ni mtoto mnene, kibonge.
Kidum ni ile jerrycan ya 20 liters ya maji. Sasa nikakuwa ni jina langu. Kwa miaka kama 6-7 nilikuwa natumia hiyo Kidum kuanza kucheza drums.
Okay. Shikilia tu hapo Kidum, kidogo turudi kwa watazamaji. Tunatupata katika ndani ya mtandao wa kijamii ambao ni Twitter. Tukiangazia mtandao wa Twitter ikiwa hashtag ama alama ya reli ni Jamvi la Kimasomaso, alama ya reli Kidum. Pia ukitaka unatupata katika mtandao wa Facebook ambao jina letu ni Jamvi la Kimasomaso. Kidum ako ndani ya studio, muulize maswali yote ambayo unataka. Tutakaribisha. Na tunampata kijana mmoja anajipata kama Richie Roger. Richie Roger kuna swali bomba kabisa. Kidum, wewe ni gospel artist ama wewe ni secular artist?
Mimi kwa akili yangu sijui kitu kinaitwa secular ama gospel. Mimi naweza kusema niko mwimbaji mwenye ko inspired na kila kitu bora kitasaidia jamii.
Naona kuwa mwelekezi wangu ananiambia kuwa muda unazidi kunipatia kisogo. Hatuna budi la kusema kwa heri, lakini kwa sasa tulikwambia kuwa Kidum ni mwimbaji sogora ambaye anaelewa ulingo wake. Na alianza na wimbo wa namba 1. Na sasa wafuasi katika mtandao wa Facebook wanasema kuwa tunataka kusikia wimbo Mungu Anaweza. Mimi nimemaliza kazi yangu. Namwachia Kidum katika jukwaa. Ukurasa ni wako, jukwaa ni lako, jipigie debe wewe mwenyewe.
Naimba kwa sauti nikipiga magoti nikipiga magoti nikimsifu Mungu wangu. Nimefahamu kuhusu wema wake na fadhili zake, Bwana unajeshi upendo wake.
Nilijisikia nyumbani nikatulia na nilipenda.
Alikuwa anajua kile ananiuliza. Alikuwa na mwelekeo, lakini inaonekana kuna mtu alikuwa anamkatakata fupi, inakuwa ndefu, inakuwa fupi.
It's Abula's turn, and he gets the opportunity to interview Leonard Mambo Mbotela, who is yet another media industry icon who began his career in television back in 1964 and has had the longest-running radio program called Je, Huni Ungwana?
Naam, shukran sana mtazamaji kwa kuendelea kutazama KTN na karibu kwenye mahojiano yetu hii leo. Jina langu ni Abula Ahmed. Naam, kama ilivyo ada, kila siku watu kuna mahojiano kumradhi, na hii leo ndani ya studio nina furaha isiyo kifani kuwa naye Leonard Mambo Mbotela, mtangazaji mkongwe ambaye ametambulika kwa miaka na mikaka katika kazi yake ya utangazaji. Shukran sana kwa kuja katika studio zetu. Shukran sana.
Asante sana.
Na furaha isiyo kifani kupata fursa ya kukuhoji.
Asante sana.
Kwanza kabisa tuanze, safari yako ya utangazaji ilianza lini na kivipi?
Nilivutiwa zaidi na watangazaji wa Kongo wa zamani ambao kwa sasa wengi wao washafariki, Mungu aweke mahali pema. Mmoja alikuwa ni Stephen Kikumu alikuwa mtangazaji mzuri sana, Simeon de Sanjo, Salim Mohamed.
Baadhi ya vipindi ambavyo umewahi kufanya kama salamu kwa vijana, hodi hodi, kipindi ambacho kinatambulika hadi sasa Kenya nzima. Je, huu ni ungwana? Kitu gani kilikufanya ukaja na ile wazo la kuanzisha hicho kipindi?
Asante, ni swali zuri sana hilo. Ilikuwa ni Jumamosi moja wakati wa mapumziko ya mwisho wa wiki. Tumeingia katika hoteli moja mashuhuri sana hapa Nairobi, hoteli ambayo mpaka leo iko na bado ni mashuhuri. Na watu mashuhuri walikuwa wakiingia katika hoteli ile, mawaziri na watu wengine wenye nyadhifa kubwa kubwa serikalini. Sasa niliandamana na marafiki zangu wengine kwenda kujiburudisha kidogo kwa vinywaji mbalimbali. Sasa ukishaingia mahali kama pale, kuna meza watu wamekaa, mnasubiri kidogo, yule mhudumu wa ile hoteli atakuja aulize, je, mtakunywa nini ama niwauzie nini na kadhalika. Lakini mmoja wa rafiki zangu yeye hakustahimili. Yaani aliona kwamba ana haraka sana. Akaanza kuitana na kupiga meza pale. Oi! Nani yuko hapa? Oi! Nani oi? Sasa wale watu wakubwa wale mawaziri wakaanza kugeuka kuangalia ile meza yetu. Nasema nani hawa? Shouting here, banging the tables. Ndio baada ya hapo bwana, nikamwambia rafiki yangu bwana, alo, tabia gani bwana? Hapa tuko katika mji mkubwa, hoteli kubwa hii, kuna waheshimiwa hapa ndani, hatoko Karumaindo bwana. Piga kelele namna gani? Ungengoja uje uhudumiwe, sio? Wastangu siku hiyo Abula Mohamed ndio nilianzisha kipindi hiki cha Je Uliungwana.
Na Waswahili wasema aisifue mvua imemnyea.
Kabisa.
Kwa ni jambo ambalo
ni jambo ambalo lilifanyika kabisa. Tulikuwa pale na baada ya hapo tulipoondoka siku ya pili yake nikaanzisha kipindi cha Je Uliungwana.
Shukrani sana.
Asante sana.
Japo muda unajua kawaida muda huwa hautoshi. Mwelekezo wangu ananiambia muda umekatika tayari.
Najua sana.
Nashukuru sana na furaha sana kuweza kupata fursa ya kukuhoji na pengine tutapata muda siku nyingine.
Mimi pia nafurahi kwa ulivyonialika katika mahojiano haya.
Na mtazamaji, alikuwa Leonard Mambo Mbotela ambao bila shaka unamfahamu. Alianza kazi ya utangazaji mnamo mwaka 1964, mwaka mmoja baada ya Kenya kujinyakulia uhuru, na mpaka sasa kama unavyosikia sauti yake bado inangurumisha. Anafahamika. Shukran sana kwa kuwa nasi kuanzia mwanzo hadi tamati. Muda umetupa kisogo, lakini kumbuka pia tutapatana tengine siku nyingine, siku, saa na wakati kama huu. Naitwa Abula Ahmed, shukran za dhati. Usifikirie sana kuhusiana na yale makosa ambayo umefanya, bali fikiria yale mazuri ambayo ulifanya katika mahojiano yote. Kwa hivyo mimi nafikiria yale mazuri tu ambayo nilifanya. Makosa utokea hapa na pale, lakini iko siku nyingine pia utakuja fanya mahojiano na ujaribu kurekebisha pale ambapo ulikosea.
Bahati kubwa alionayo ni kwamba alinihoji katika lugha ya Kiswahili, na kwa maoni yangu naona kwamba hiyo ni kama lugha ya baba na mama. Ametoka kule pwani na anaifahamu vizuri sana lugha hiyo, na bila shaka yote ndio lugha ambayo ilimsaidia sana, manake anaifahamu. Na maswali aliyoniuliza pia katika lugha ya Kiswahili aliuliza kwa ufasaha mkubwa.
Finally, it's Jamal Gaddafi's turn, and he is tasked to interview the Standard newspaper's very own author and columnist, Tony Mochama, who is better known for his unique articles, especially in Smita Smitten.
Naam, karibu mtazamaji katika kipindi chako kipendacho cha Mulika na KTN. Na ni mimi Jamal Gaddafi, na leo tumepata fursa ya kuona mgwiji katika uandishi. Ni mshairi, amepata tuzo kadhaa katika uandishi wake. Sinani mwingine ni Tony Mochama aka the Smita Smitten. Ama vipi? Basi mtazamaji, na ningeomba tujadiliane mimi na wewe, utume maoni yako katika Twitter #Mulika na KTN, na pia Facebook Mulika na KTN utazanipata, na pia kwenye simu unaweza nitumania katika arafa zako 221 tukaweza kujadiliana na ukaweza kujifunza mambo mengi kuhusiana na kipindi cha leo, manake tunataka kuweka wazi maisha ya wasanii. Ama vipi? Tuanze vipi Smita? Na ili jina la Smita ulipata vipi? Tuanze hapo.
Hii jina la Smita kusema kweli niliiba kutoka televisheni show inaitwa Goodness Gracious Me. A British show called Goodness Gracious Me. Lakini nilifikiria kwamba Smita atakuwa tu siku moja ama mbili. Lakini here we are. Me and you. Me and you, Colonel.
Kweli.
Today I'm giving you a name, Colonel Gaddafi.
Jemedari.
Jemedari Gaddafi.
Naam.
Jemedari Gaddafi.
Mbona maisha yako ni usiri? Maanake tukiangalia katika zile columns za gazeti watu wanaandika, wengine wameweka sura zao, wewe kidogo umeficha.
I see life as a mystery to peep through.
Unapenda kutumia sheng katika nini?
Sminglish.
Naam.
Si sheng, Sminglish.
Kwa nini unapenda kutumia mtindo huo?
Hiyo tu ni maandishi moja tu. Ile column tu ya Friday. Otherwise the rest of the time it's very good Queen's English in my other writing.
Na mwelekezi wangu ananiambia muda unanipa kisogo. Nipatie usia kidogo ndio tumalize sasa hivi.
You're watching this program. I would advise you watch TV, yes, listen to radio, play around with your digital gadgets, but spare a lot of time to read. Reading is very good. It's fantastic for the imagination. You see, I'm reading even at my age. I'm still reading very fat
his
books.
glory.
Yeah, different books. Because reading, it's a wonderful pastime, and you can do it everywhere, in queues, in the matatus, in the toilet, instead of just sitting around thinking of nothing.
Naam, shukran sana Bwana Smita. Mtazamaji, na kushukuru tu sana kwa kuwa na mimi kuanzia mwanzo hadi sasa tamati, na natumai umejifunza mengi kuhusiana na hii mada yetu. Tulikuwa na Smita ambaye ametoweza kutueleza kuhusiana na mambo ya uandishi. Sina la ziada ila kukwambia alamsiki. Nijua atajaribu juu chini kuweza kunikanganya na kunitoa kwenye njia, lakini nashukuru nilikuwa nimesimama imara.
He's got the presence and he's got the professionalism. He certainly has the look, and he's quite eloquent, and is able to support to provide that support basis of, I would ask him a few things and he'd also get us back on track.
How well have the contestants performed? Who got on his or her own way? Who took in the advice given by the two media gurus, Jeff Koinange and John C.B. Okumu? Who will be leaving the academy next? Find out next week.
To get more information on this show, text in the keyword presenter to 22840.